Hello and welcome back to my RC channel. I'm AndyRC and this is episode 3 of building a high-end 450 size quadcopter. Today we are going to configure the hardware for the tranis in preparation for the pixhawk flight controller. Before I even turn the tranis on, I'm going to add the 6-position switch for the pixhawk/APM flight modes. This is just my preference as I don't like to mess around splitting channels into different switches. This is also going to free up my switches for the many functions I plan to add later in the series. The first thing to do is remove the battery and then take the back off the tranis using a Phillips screwdriver. Be careful as the top switches will become loose when you pull the back plate off. Next, pull the latches on the ribbon connectors to free the back plate away from the front. There are only really 2 places you can put the switch due to the limited space inside. I am choosing the right shoulder, which I see most people doing. I have done this because I fly mode 1 though, which means when I take my hands off the throttle to change flight modes, I can still control the copter with my left hand. If I flew mode 2 though, I think I'd have it on the left shoulder so that I can control the pitch and the roll axis while playing with the switch at the same time. I will leave that up to you though. You can see down here I have soldered 3 wires to the S3 port. This is an extra unused set of solder pads allowing us to add another pot. I'm using the spare servo lead that we bought in the first video. I have cut the servo connectors off, leaving the 3 wires nicely together. I have then stripped the end of the wires and soldered in the ground first, which is the black wire, then the white, which is the signal wire, and finally the positive voltage wire, which is red. I have done the same on the switch, which is labelled in the same order. You can pause the screen here if doing the job yourself now. The next thing you want to do is using the wire cutters that we bought is cut away the plastic, which looks like it's providing extra support to the transmitter's handle. Don't worry, when cutting this away it will still be solid as a rock. Once cut away, you can take a drill bit and drill out the hole for our switch. I'd recommend removing the cable for the switches from the circuit board to give you extra room. Drill from the inside out so that it looks nice and neat. The switch will then fit through the case snugly. You can then put the washer and nut over and tighten it all up. Don't tighten it fully yet though. You have 2 placement options. My preference is to have the flight mode starting left to right. To do this, rotate the switch so that the circuit board is facing inwards. To have the flight modes going right to left, you need to have it so that the circuit board faces outwards. You can just reverse your flight modes in Mission Planner, however, the switch defaults to its starting position when the transmitter is switched on and quickly switches to where you have left it, which means if you have added sounds, it will always play the sound of the default starting position before moving to the selected one. I find this annoying.
Stabilize. Landing.
Once you have found the position you like, take a spanner or socket set and tighten it up so that it doesn't move. This is plastic though, so don't overdo it. It's important to note though that you can buy the front and back tranis plate really cheaply as a spare part if you mess up. And of course the finishing touch is to add the knob to the top of the switch. Carefully place the back of the transmitter on, ensuring all the switches are fitting correctly before putting the screws back in. That's the hardware sorted, but before we can use it, we have to turn on the S3 port in the tranis itself. Switch on the TX and wait for it to start up. Then hold down the menu button and long press page twice, which will move us backwards through the menus. Of course, fast pressing the page button moves us forward. Using the down buttons, navigate to the type S3 and press enter. Using the up and down buttons, select multi-position switch and then press enter. Fast press the page button and this brings us to the calibration screen. This is important. Here we are recalibrating the entire radio, not just the pot we have added. Center the sticks, but also the sliders and the original pots. Press enter and move all the sticks to their extremes. Move the sliders and pots and of course the new switch to all of its 6 positions. Once that's done, press enter. That's it, we are done with the switch. Now let's turn the TX off and back on. It's time to create our new model. Incidentally, if you're still not sold on this mod, then yes, it still fits in the case, because the switch is right over the top of the transmitter handle, it fits in the Tranis case, and it also fits in the box that it comes in. So there you go, that's episode 3. Look out for the next episode in the series coming soon. Thanks so much for watching, please continue to subscribe, cheers.